Okay, here's warm-up number 6 for geometry. Okay, so we've got here two angles, well, three angles actually. We've got these two angles, and then we've got the bigger angle. Okay, and this bigger angle is a right angle I can see, so it measures 90 degrees. And when we have two adjacent angles like this that are next to each other, we can use the angle addition postulate, which just means the measure of these two added together is going to equal the bigger angle. Okay, so that means I can say, hey, 2x plus x plus 6 is going to equal 90. Okay, yeah, there's the first angle, there's the second one. When I add them together, I get 90. And now I can solve for x. So I've got some like terms here. 2x plus 1x is 3x. And I'll start to isolate the x. I'll subtract 6 from both sides. I've got 84 left on the right side, and then divide by 3. And 84 divided by 3 is going to come out to exactly 28. So there's our first solution. Okay, the second problem says find the measure of angle QWT. So QWT, the way you name angles, the middle letter is always going to be the vertex, okay? So I'm kind of just going to read them in order. QWT, that means that's going to be this angle. So it's going to be the angle with the 2x in it, okay? So the measure of this angle is going to equal 2x, but hey, now we know x is 28, so 2 times 28, and then that's going to come out to 56. And since this is the measure of an angle, I'm going to put the degree symbol in there. It's 56 degrees, right? This is just x. It's just the value of x that you would plug in. But here I'm saying the measure of an angle. That's why I have the degree symbol there, okay? And then let's find the measure of angle TWZ. TWZ, that's this one. That's the x plus 6. So the measure of this angle is going to equal x plus 6. I already know x is 28, so I'll just write it like this. X plus 6, right? 28 plus 6, that'll put me at 34 degrees. Okay? All right, one problem left. An angle is 48 degrees more than its supplement. Find the measure of both angles. Here's how I like to set these type of problems up. I've got two angles. I don't know their measures. So I'll call them angle A and angle B. What I do know about these two angles is what they are going to equal, what their sum is, because it says that they're supplementary to each other, okay? And that means that they're going to add up to 180 degrees. If this said complementary, they'd add up to 90, but this is going to add up to 180 degrees, okay? Now, the first angle, I don't know how many degrees that is, so I'm going to say it's x degrees, okay? Some unknown amount of degrees. But I do know that the difference between the two is 48 degrees. One of the angles is 48 more than the other one. So angle A could be the bigger of the two angles or the smaller. It doesn't really matter, so you can choose. So if I'm saying that this is the smaller of the two, then I know I'm going to have to add 48 to whatever this measure is to get the measure of its supplement of angle B, okay? So if this one's x, if this is 48 more than that, I'll call this x plus 48, okay? And I'll just leave this as equaling 180, and now I should be able to solve for x. And if I get x, then I can get the measures of these two angles, right? Because angle A will just be x, and then I'll add 48 to x to get angle B, okay? So let's go ahead and solve this for x. So I'm going to combine the two x's. X plus x is 2x. Okay, and then I'm going to isolate the x here, so I'll start by subtracting 48 from both sides to get the 2x by itself. Comes out to 132 there, and then I'll divide by 2, and x is going to equal 66. Okay, and then I still have to go back and think, well, what does that mean exactly? So here I had angle A. I called that the smaller of the two, so that would be what x is. So the measure of angle A, and I don't care if you call these angles angle A and B or C and D or x and y, it doesn't really matter what we call them. It really just matters that you get the measures correct. So that one, I'm just doing this to make sure I keep this organized. One of the two angles is going to be 66 degrees, okay? And the one that I have called angle B, that is going to be x plus 48. So x plus 48. Well, I already figured out that x is 66. So now I can plug that 66 in and do the addition, and that's going to put me at 114 degrees. And nice thing about these problems, you can always test your answer. So first I can check, do these add up to 180? And they do. That means they're supplementary. And then I can check, is 148 more than the other? Well, 66 plus 48 does equal 114. So I know it's the correct answer. And that's it for today.